Welcome, my guy. We are here in a cosmic conversation. I am your boy, Tahuti Trismegistus, here with the Super Saiyan hair so that we can connect, communicate, and correlate all of our infinite individuality so that we can get our spirituality popping in this reality. So, I am here with the Super Saiyan hair today to talk about the importance of going Super Saiyan. And when you see Goku and Vegeta going Super Saiyan, what are they using? Chi or Ki. So that is today's question. We are talking about Chi, that universal life force energy. So this is similar to the question that we got about money, where it's just like, what is money? This question is, what is Chi? Specifically, let me not drop this. That would be a tragedy. Hey, Thoth. What is Chi, Prana, life force energy? If everything is water, is Chi water? Or is it air? Or a mix of the two? Or none of these? We're jumping right in here as I'm grinding up this bowl. Because when you're dealing with Tahuti Trismegistus, numbers are about to always come up. Numbers are just such a simple, like it's the simplest code, the simplest language that us as spirits have for describing how light moves. So this is why, theoretically, you can plug me into any simulation based on any number scheme, and I will make it work because it's all going to be connected to spirit. Now, in this specific reality, we have 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then after 9, there's no more numbers. So when I'm here making that work, as Chase Clarence Calloway, because look, it's not, when I'm pushing all the number stuff, like I'm kicking like, oh, okay, yeah, numbers architect reality. And we can see that in just everything. That's the point of math and architecture and anything monetary related. Just anything is numbers. You're not going to see something exist without numbers. How are you going to have two trees if you don't have what two is? So it's just about our language for numbers. So like there could be a number after 9 that's like 9 gua sma flee po, and then it's like now that continues, and that simulation would then be built on like whatever spirits, whatever their relationships with those numbers are. So in this world, we are all about ascending. Like we're literally here in this world to learn how to build a better world, right? Like either everyone wants to go to heaven or people want to create their own heaven. And either they think they can live heaven after life and then they're doing things in this life to prepare for that, or they feel like there's no life in the afterlife, so they need to live heaven now. Either way, the desire is heaven, Hev 10. So when we're looking at numbers, we see that here with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then 10 being the heaven, and that's where life resets. Because 1 and 10 are the same. It's just about having the extra 0, having some extra spirit to support that imagination. So when we're talking about money, we talked about that in the last episode. I'm pretty sure what I say? I better have said that money is 2, because money being the moon is water. So that's the vibration. So money is all about trapping your infinite freedom of expression. So people can feel infinitely free, but if you teach them that they need money to express that, boom, now they're building your world. No matter what they do to express themselves, they're building your world because they feel like they need to use your idea to do so. So that's where money is 2, because it's about the feeling, the vibration, the water. It's just like controlled by currency, which is 3. So that's where currency is different. And really the point of currency is to get at the vibration. So money is currency, but the way money has been working is that since it's been the only currency, it's really been 2 energy, because it's just allowed to trap people in a vibration. Uh, Whereas now, it seems, especially with technology, the cryptocurrency, things are much more three. So now it's not about spirits feeling like trapping you in something, because that's the point of money. Money is created to steal the land of indigenous peoples, and it's been doing that for a very long time, for centuries. That's how North, South, and Central America was built. The concept of money just enslaved and colonized all these people that didn't even care and know what money is. And now we all care and know what money is, which allows us to consistently worship and build a system for the people who use money to colonize and take over the lands in the first place. So the point of cryptocurrency or currency in general would be stepping out of that two and going into the three. So this is Chi. The person who asked this question is super into cryptocurrency. So we're talking about three energy here. We're talking about Chi, crypto, three being the currency. Everything that you can see is a cryptocurrency. And it's funny when we think about a crypt, like a crypto, because a crypt is dark and hidden and enclosed. And that's a simulation. When you think about it, this is why like all worlds are dead. All light is dead. Like a thought is dead until feeling is brought to it, until it's animated, right? Like, so money as an idea, one individual, this group of light white supremacist individuals make up this idea of money. That's their individual idea. So it takes them bringing this individual and ramming it into your mind to make you give your individual to it. Now you have the V, now you have two, and now they've caught your vibration in their idea. So now all of your individuality is being sacrificed to their individuality. So that's where the three, the point would be of actually communicating, and that's overall freedom. So when we're talking about a cryptocurrency, with a simulation being dead, it's one. But when you bring life to it, that's bringing two into it. So then this is why everything is chi and everything is three from a numerological standpoint. Because it comes down to you making a world, having an imagination, which is one, and then having your vibration, your feelings about that imagination, which is two. And once you communicate your imagination and your feelings together, once you combine your imagination and your feelings together, you're communicating your spirit. And then that's why you are constantly changing. So your imagination and your feelings are constantly changing. And then the way you combine those is constantly changing. And that is your chi. So everything that you can see, that is chi. And yeah, prana, life force energy. So when we're talking about like these bodies, okay, so look at a four. So bodies are the four. So your body is being animated by three. This is why you're a product of your thoughts, because 4 plus 3 is 7, and 7 is really like thought incarnate. So the way that you communicate with your body is really like the strongest expression of your consciousness, your 7 number. So when we're talking about, yeah, if everything is water, is chi water. This is why elements help with the numbers, especially. Because air looks less dense than water, but that's just because we've been taught to call water this dense thing, but it's all air. Everything being air, it's just vibrating at water. So if everything is water, that just means that everything that is possible comes from water. Meaning that everything is water, but it may not feel like water. It's just that it came from water, because water at its core is a spirit connecting with itself, and then thus being able to connect with others outside of it, making it appear formless and fluid and everything. So it's still something, right? Like that's the point of water. Like People like to say it's formless, but like that, no, like we know water isn't formless. It just molds its form to the environment around it and the circumstances around it. So water is a completely reactive and nourishing element. So chi is denser than water because water comes from fire. So one being fire and two being water. When you add fire into water, it may steam so it boils and then like goes everywhere. But from a light standpoint, from like pure light, air is denser than water because air is water plus fire. So that water may feel denser. And this is like the thing with feelings. So this is where like everything is air because water is polarity. So water can feel light, but it can also feel fear. That's what fear is. It can feel incredibly dense to where it starts to fear things. Um, so just adding any imagination into feelings at all brings it down. And so that's where, like, from a hierarchy standpoint of density, you have spirit up here, which is nothing. And then the moment spirit creates its imagination, its first light, now it is its least dense form. So, like, if we were to give that a body, like our imaginations, like, and it depends your awareness and how many bodies you have too, because this is so macro micro. You have your higher self or your higher selves, quote unquote, and really it's all you as a spirit. It's just it depends like how much have you as a spirit fractalize yourself among bodies and like split up your awareness so you can like learn about yourself in different ways and communicate or whatever. The point is though, all of everything in your experience, all of your bodies are being animated by chi. Like that is the life force. Your spirit's life force for its body is how it combines its imagination and feelings so that it can communicate that to the structure it created in whatever reality it's in. So your body right now, my body right now, I'll just say my body right now, since I'm doing it right now. My body right now, right? This is a body that is known as Chase because some spirit ignites its imaginations and feelings inside of this body consistently every day to show up in a certain way into this reality and build certain routines and patterns based on how it communicates. So now it's like based on how its imaginations and feelings are combining internally, then I'm communicating that externally, and then that starts to build my life. So now my whole life, my whole structure has been a product of how I've communicated with myself and thus the world every day up to that point. So it's just life all the time. Zero is nothing. That's you. You're the spirit. Your one is your imagination. That's everything you can possibly be aware of. That's just all your desires. And then two is your demons, right? So you have your one, your desire. Two is your demon, your water. Everything, all of your feelings about your imagination. So that's not just feelings that support it, but all of your feelings that don't support you, all of your feelings where you hate yourself. That's your demon. That's just your water. That's like your actual spirit's infinite expression of itself. Whereas your fire is its ideal version. It's masculine. Like, I'd rather look at this. Whereas your water is like, yeah, but this is what it is. And that's where life comes from. Life can't literally, it can't come from pure desire. You you will not see that in any realm or reality. We'll just never see that. That's why we have the observable universe and the unobservable universe. The observable universe is the water realm. That's the all one realm. That's where spirits choose to connect. And the unobservable universe is basically where everyone is when they're dead and yet they're imagining themselves, but they're just not choosing to connect with anyone. So now they're in their alone realm. And now this is like their infinite expression of their spirit. But if you don't like who you are when you're alone, then you'll easily want to run into a world and act like you're not your own God. And that's where everyone knows that spirituality is real. Everyone knows that someone's creating life because you can create things every day. We're creating, you have to create things on a daily basis. It's like you can convince yourself you're not creating things. And then, yeah, you're just like really being in that dense water version of your chi. So that's where it's like, when we're talking about feelings and being your own demon, it gets really deep. That's the point of the subconscious, and that's the point of water. It's deep. So chi is just the externalization of water. So chi is supposed to be what all possibilities look like, because your feelings are like all possibilities, and that's where your feelings are really supposed to feel like all possibilities. Your spirit is all possibilities, but your feelings are your path. They're your anchor way. They're your connection to all possibilities. Because if you feel like you are all possibilities, now you're the closest feeling to the spirit. And the spirit ultimately is desireless, but really the spirit is, from being desireless, it's freely expressive. So the moment the spirit desires to express itself, it has true freedom of expression. So then this is why no matter your religion, what? Okay. No matter your religion or your beliefs or what your ideas are, you feel inclined to make art and express your imagination. And it feels good to express your imagination, and connect your imagination to other imaginations who can relate with it. Now you have a vibe going. Now you're creating water. And then that's where we naturally are always creating life. Even if you feel like you're not creating life, you'll just create life underneath the idea that you're not creating life. And that's like the point of systems. So if a spirit can make money off of making you and a bunch of other spirits believe that you're not creating life, then absolutely, here we are again with the colonization of North, South, and Central America, and by extension, planet Earth. So chi is like your ability to have complete superpowers, because chi is communication, and everything is communication. Like when you look at your body, you look at anything in the world, any company, any technology, anything, the only way it's possible is if it's communicating, right? We literally can't have a language if we don't know how to communicate. We can't have phones if we don't know how to communicate. We can't build businesses if we don't know how to communicate. We can't build corporations if we don't know how to communicate. We just can't build things if we don't know how to communicate. So that lets you know also that for us to be building this planet, we had to communicate before. So that's the point of nothingness into fire into water. Water is life. So when this person is saying everything is water, that's because water being life makes everything possible. But fire and water are both internal elements. So fire and water are like astral realm type deal, where they're so invisible that it's more about the feeling than seeing. You don't see fire and water. You see air and earth. You feel fire and water. So it's about like, if you feel like seeing yourself with other spirits, then you will create a situation, create a simulation where you can start creating life with others. And now that takes you as an infinite God, as an infinite spirit outside of that world, creating a body inside of that world on whatever level is necessary. In this case, we're humans. And now, based on that body, you are communicating your imagination and feelings. You're combining both of your internal elements that no one can see, your fire and water, to become air. And that air turns into prana, life force energy, all that. It animates your body. And now I can be here doing everything. Now my body is getting hit with air, and that air is carrying water. So then that's where like air is water plus fire, because it is my feeling like being connected here plus my imagination though. So the fact that I can see you, the fact you can see me, the fact that we're even speaking similar languages or just like in the same planet, in the same environment, means that we feel like being connected. So that's our water. That's why water is life for all of us and everywhere. It's going to be the vibe. It's going to be the vibration, the two that keeps you locked into that realm. It's just then the thing that separates you from the vibe, because we're all one vibe as humans. We're all one then, because we're all in one body of water. But the moment you're communicating, the moment you ignite your imagination into that water to communicate your spirit, to show your spirit to all the other spirits that you're connected to, you are now creating air. And now that air is carrying your water, It's like carrying your soul, carrying your feelings into your body that you've made. And then that's where the body is constantly made by air and animated by air. The body is made out of water. Water plus water is earth. So that's just where, yes, air carries the water. And then that's the thing that separates all of our chi from each other. Even though everything is chi, we all have our own individual versions and spectrums of chi based on how our spirits communicate or just combine our imaginations and feelings. So water, then the point would be that water makes chi possible. It's just that water is internal. So everything is chi, and then chi feels like water. So chi can appear lighter than water because when we're talking about water and we're talking about feelings, you can feel denser about your imagination. And thus, that's where you would say that water would perhaps be denser than air. Because although air is a combination of water and one's imagination, if you feel like you're not worthy of expressing your godlyhood, or like you're not worthy of your infinite imagination, then that's where that will even manifest in feeling like water is denser than air, when it's just not true. They call it a water cycle, not an air cycle. You feel me? So like, that literally means that everything exists underwater. This is what we know in Atlantis, and what allows us to interdimensionally travel in metaphysic ways and all that. And there's layers to that, but the awareness comes from knowing that everything is underwater because everything is air. Air being water plus whatever spirit's imagination, whatever that spirit's individual imagination is as to why they connected to that body of water. Because we're clearly all connected, that's a fact. And then we're clearly all separate, that's a fact. So that's the point of air. The connection is 2, the separation is 1. And it all exists inside of 0. So yeah, is that everything on chi? Yeah, if you want to level up your chi, then that's where we talk about fasting, Dragon Ball Z, training, meditation, and really just knowing that your chi is your feelings plus your imagination. So it's then about having your imagination in check. You have to know what you want. My phone just cut me off like 3 times. So actually, I'm about to keep going because I was going to end. But if you want to be a Dragon Ball Z character, and we're talking about raising your chi now, fast. And what you do to raise your chi through fasting is to make sure that you're actually marrying your man and woman. You want to make sure that you're actually combining your fire and water, and combining the proper water into both your fire and water. And really, that's just combining the right air into your fire and water. So I really do get where this person's coming from. Because air is just about what water looks like. So as individuals, we all look different. It's just that we all feel the same. And that's the point of us connecting as any sort of group. We feel the same. It's just that then we can look different and be appreciated for all of our differences inside of how we feel the same. So that's just all worlds, macro, micro, no matter where you go, anywhere in the universe. This is the science of how spirits build life. So to do that properly inside of yourself, so you're just like hitting kamehamehas or like flying from planet to planet metaphysically, and then you can bring that down, and life will go on in a wild way based on your imagination. But you had to imagine it first. Then you would like truly make sure that you're communicating, putting your air, because your air is the externalization of spirit. You want to communicate with your body into nothingness. So then that's just where it would be about going from air into nothing. And that's the point of meditation, and why in Dragon Ball Z they go super hard yang wise, right? Like they're being very external, yet they're also being incredibly internal. They go very yin. They do a lot of meditation. They do a lot of contraction, not just expansion. So that's what we're talking about when we're talking about taking the air, your external element, your ability to communicate, to your spirit, which would be your nothingness. And then that's where your air actually starts to be hit with infinitely better and infinitely more individual and universal and beneficial just for you and unique just for you thoughts and ideas. Because your spirit has like infinite fire and water, because it's just not fire and water yet. So the moment you're confined to just like what your imagination and feelings are right now, you're limited. You're limited by how your body has been programmed up to that point. You're limited by the world around you and like your consciousness, basically. So that's where it would be essential, like I'm saying, to not just cap at desire and focus on what you want, because that's why people will focus, lifetimes on trying to go to heaven, because they're not thinking about how to create a heaven for whatever reason. So they're constantly getting manipulated by spirits to build their worlds because they want to go to heaven or whatever. So we're talking about here you going to your own individual infinite section of nothingness, your actual heaven, because it's like not even heaven yet. Because the moment you create a heaven, it's hell. I promise. I promise. I promise. So like true heaven is nothing. I promise. People are just so scared of nothing. For that's conditioning, their personal relationship with it, whatever. The point is like spirits are trying not to be nothing. That's why if we're expressing ourselves, we're clearly doing something. It's just that it's all coming out of nothing, and those feelings are coming out of nothing. So when you're lost in something, as a spirit, as a consciousness, it's essential to increase your chi. Because when you're lost in something, that means your chi is dense. And the only way that you're going to raise your chi and fly in any metaphysical and then a physical way would be to focus your communication on your spirit, on nothingness, on being completely clear. And once you just hit that clarity, then that's when infinite, truly individual, truly expressive of you, thoughts and feelings will come in. And it's important for you to process and deal with that. A lot of people, I suppose, can't. It seems. A lot of people do not want to sit alone with themselves. And that's a bunch of extra stuff that I would have to sit with them personally about. But this is clearly what technology and just distraction culture, capitalism sort of preys upon, is people not feeling comfortable being alone. So they want to run into the external world. And that just shows how on a true spiritual level, if you're scared of death, then that shows that you as a spirit may very well have created this body out of running away from yourself. And now you get to use this lifetime as a way to learn who you are when you're alone, but when you're not so alone. Because that's the point of making a body in a realm and animating chi into it, with everything being chi. Everything is communicated. So all worlds exist inside of chi. The whole universe, everything you can see is the C. That's the 3. It's just then, so all fours, all thoughts, all thought boxes, all simulations exist inside that C, inside of that 3. And then that C is like infinite spectrums of densities of water. Because the point is that air is what water looks like. So it's then when you're in air, it feels like water. It looks like air though, because it's water plus the imagination of you and the spirits around you. Yeah, so I already just went into how then whenever you're in a simulation, to make sure you're not just lost in the density of the world around you and you're not then stuck, you would have to make sure you're always focusing on your individual nothingness and actually meditating on clarity. And then that's the point of having clairvoyance. Clairvoyance, like you're sailing in these waters that look like air, and your clairvoyance is your connection to your spirit, your true God, your infinite self. And the more you communicate with your infinite self, this is how I've gone up to this point, talking to my infinite self, I Ra Cell. It's pretty lit. Then that's where you realize that you as a spirit, the moment you create a body, you're never alone. It's just then you created a situation where you get to be alone with yourself. And now it's like, do you feel like you want to be alone with yourself versus just actually being alone? So being in a body is a whole privilege. Like you're in this body so that you can bring what you're already doing spiritually into a practical way and be able to communicate and relate it with people in this world in a way that allows us to build. So pretty lit. Get that chi up. Dragon Ball Z, flying forever. This is how we fly. This is teleportation. Teleportation is just knowing, like when you're a spirit, you're not the body. Because people wonder, like, how would flying work without wings, right? Like, how would flying work? How would teleportation work when it's like so far? And it's like, bro, there's like no such thing as like farness or like closeness when you're the spirit, because it's all the zero and it all exists within you. So it's like when you're truly tapped into your spirit space, your infinite desirelessness, then you're always infinitely free. And that's what allows you to just fly, no matter where you are, no matter what it looks like to other people, in whatever body you're inhabiting. You, as a Dragon Ball Z Chi character, just the way you're communicating with yourself, builds this aura, builds a spaceship, builds the atmosphere. 3 is the atmosphere, the air that allows you to breathe yourself in. So now you're breathing in your imaginations and your feelings. That's the point of an atmosphere. And then you're creating life, and that builds your structure. And then that's where your body is just anchoring that while also allowing you to expand. A tree grows at both ends. You're not just growing upward without growing downward. Yeah.